This is Greg. He's a productive, determined person who just found out about dropshipping. All the videos he has watched said that this was the perfect business model. He promised himself he would stick to this and be disciplined until he saw results. Look at Greg go. He's being as productive as a real entrepreneur. Wait, Greg, what are you doing? You just started dropshipping and you're already looking at the new best business model. Greg, you've got a lot to learn, don't you? This is a common case of shiny object syndrome. Many people, like Greg, set off on the right track to achieving something great, like an Arnold Schwarzenegger physique, or an automated profitable business, or even a great relationship with the love of your life. They have the right systems, the right resources, so why don't they get anything achieved? Well, like I said before, these are common cases of shiny object syndrome, and I'll get to that in just a second. But first, you have to understand that knowing what shiny object syndrome is won't solve all of your problems. You first have to learn how to counteract it and even use it to your advantage. And the scariest part is, anyone in the world could achieve most things they want in life if they just understood what they're doing wrong. So in this video, I will be explaining to you what exactly shiny object syndrome is and how to turn it around and use it to your own weapon for success. First and foremost, you have to understand that ignoring shiny object syndrome won't exponentially grow your business or give you that sudden success. It will, however, stop you from falling and failing at what you're trying to accomplish. And I know it's not the answer you wanted to hear, but success doesn't come by accident. It's an obvious statement, but most people are too arrogant to accept this. Success takes time and effort, and if you can't be bothered to put any effort into achieving your goals, you don't want to achieve them anyway. But since you're watching this video, I can assume that you have goals, long-term and short-term, that you are craving to achieve. Now, I'm not trying to crush all of your hope, but if you do want to achieve something, you have to fail. There's no doubt about it. But using shiny object syndrome to your advantage will substantially lessen the amount of times you will fail before reaching success. So what exactly is shiny object syndrome? The term that I've been throwing around this whole video. Is it some sort of chronic disease that needs some sort of therapy to solve? No. If you haven't guessed already, it's the idea that there is something else out there that is more worth your time than what you are currently working on. So for example, if you are following this fitness plan that is meant to give you a six-pack in 90 days, a month might go by and you see a different plan that is meant to give you the same six-pack but in 60 days. It catches your eye. Something that seems to be better than what you're currently doing. This, my friend, is shiny object syndrome. Same thing goes for business. Greg found out about dropshipping and he was excited about the money he could make from this. But soon after starting his venture into the dropshipping world, something else caught his eye, a different business model. The best business model of the month that all the business gurus were talking about. This is shiny object syndrome. So what should you do about it? Well, first you need to learn how to ignore it, and then you can learn how to use it to your advantage. But I'll warn you, it will be hard and it's not exciting. Giving into shiny object syndrome will serve you in the short term, not in the long term. That means if you do end up giving into shiny object syndrome, then you'll get to feel excited again. This will be the best business model. This diet will make you skinnier, and then you fail, and then you fall into the same loop of events. You find something that excites you. You find out that it's a bit harder than you expected, and then you see something else that catches your eye, and then you do it again. This is the loop of death, the repetitive circuit of never achieving something. So again, it will be easier for you to give in to shiny object syndrome, and it will be boring, but far more beneficial if you resist it. But before you learn how to ignore it, you have to be aware of how to accidentally make it worse. Now let's say that we were trying to make it as bad as possible. How would we do that? Well, we would surround ourselves with as many triggers as possible, watching as many videos as we can about the best new way to make money, or the best new way to get a shredded physique. This will be the worst way possible to achieving something. The more you surround yourself with an extensive amount of ideas and shiny objects, the less likely you are going to stick to something, putting you into the loop of death. And to make it worse, the more times you circle the loop of death, you start to subconsciously believe that you cannot achieve anything because you haven't stuck to something. So how can it be ignored? Well, the secret is to start with a detailed roadmap, an overwhelmingly specific plan, and this is important because without a plan, you're always going to be making crucial decisions on the spot, often making mistakes. So how exactly should this roadmap look like? You start with the goal, of course, the heart of something big, the actual reason you will start something. In this beginning stage, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. For example, if your goal was to make $10,000 a month in 1 year, you should challenge this goal. Meaning, why do you want to achieve this? Is it because you want to feel valuable, be a better father, or a better husband? And if you keep asking yourself why do I want to do this? Why do I want to do that? You'll end up with an authentic answer, which, for the previous example, a better husband or father, not the actual $10,000 a month. Now that you have your goal, set small milestones that measure your progress towards achieving that big goal. So continuing on with the father example, this could be creating time each week to spend with your wife and kids, playing an extra game each week with your kids, or fixing something that your wife has been wanting to be fixed. But before you start working towards your authentic goal, make sure that the process in which you will achieve it is an efficient way of doing so. Be 100% confident in conviction in the process before you start doing it, so that when you feel shiny object syndrome starts creep in, you can wave it goodbye, knowing that you chose the best way to achieve the thing before you started. So now you've started your journey towards your goals, but what if an overwhelmingly amount of shiny object syndrome starts to kick in? To the point where you believe that you're spending your time doing the wrong thing, and that you could be spending it on something better to achieve your goals. This is when you get two pieces of paper. One for what you are currently doing, and the other for the shiny object. Divide each paper into two sections with a positive side and a negative side. I can guarantee that by the end of the week, you'll have your answer on if it's actually worth switching processes or sticking to what you're currently doing. Okay, now that we know how to ignore it, let's talk about how we can utilize shiny object syndrome to our advantage. At the end of the day, shiny object syndrome comes from the fear of missing out. The fear that there's some ideas that we will never know about if we stay tunnel visioned on our goals. So to reverse this, set time every fortnight. Just have a quick look at the way other people are achieving the same goal that you want yourself. This gives an insight of the new trends and popular ideas that are being discussed about every fortnight. And within a month or two implementing this strategy, you will discover every week or two that there is always a new best way of doing something, and that you really aren't missing out on anything. If you want to see more productive videos on your homepage, please subscribe and the algorithm will do the rest. But until then, this is your future unlocked.